This woman bought a plane for $2,000 and turned it into the home of her dreams. Back in 1993, the house in which Rose lived was destroyed to the ground during a hurricane. Hundreds of families, including Rose and her neighbors, were left without a roof over their heads, losing almost everything they owned that day. At the same time, Rose had no idea how to survive what had happened and didn't know how she was going to restore her life. Just a few months earlier, Rose had also lost her beloved husband, who was her rock and whose hands had built their home. The situation was complicated much more by the fact that the woman worked as a cosmetologist, so she didn't have much money for the construction of a new house. It was a very difficult time, but sometimes there's a way out, even for a seemingly hopeless situation. Having only a small amount of cash, Rose began to search for cheap options and began to consider the home on wheels option. She checked out several places but couldn't find anything worthy. For a budget of under $5,000, she was getting offers for small trailers only, which obviously didn't have enough space for a mother with a son and a daughter. All this time, Rose and her children had to live with her friends. In 1994, her later husband's brother, who worked as an air traffic controller, suggested an unusual option for Rose to consider. He simply told Rose, what if she were to make her home out of a plane, as there would then be plenty of space. After all, she lived not far from the airport, where one of the leading aircraft restoration companies regularly made planes for one particular group. The company manager took her on a little tour, but as soon as Rose saw the decommissioned Continental Airlines plane, she knew what she wanted. Rose fell in love with the plane at the very first sight. The plane had been gathering dust in a parking lot for several months and hadn't hoped to find a new and loving owner. This Boeing 727 made its first flight on May 11, 1968 and worked right until September 20, 1993, and has been parked at the airport since then. It took several months to empty the plane, but when it was done, Rose bought it for just $2,000. It was almost for free as she had only paid for the cost of the metal. Transportation cost Rose another $4,000. The plane looked very unappealing at the time and even got dropped during transportation. When the plane was put in place, its tail was fixed on concrete support, while the front was positioned over a leg to give the Boeing 727 a more dynamic look, as if it was flying through the air. The interior, with a width of almost 4 meters, looked very spacious, and 76 side windows and 10 cockpit windows provided sufficient light. The floor plan was personally prepared by Rose. It consisted of 3 huge bedrooms, a living room, a dining room, a fully equipped kitchen, a laundry room, and her favorite, which was a bathroom with a hot tub where the cockpit had once been. The cockpit control wheels had been retained to add to the airplane look. To fully equip the house of her dreams, $24,000 was later spent. Using all the possible tools, Rose kept going back to various missing details. She was also called the most daring person, given that she did a lot of the work herself with her own hands. All floors were brought to the same level, after which they were insulated and carpeted, and linoleum was laid in the kitchen. One original airplane was kept and hasn't been removed. To open and close the rear view staircase, a garage door opener was used. The upper luggage compartments were kept to provide storage space. As for the utilities, electricity, water supply and plumbing were installed like a regular home. The house has absolutely everything that a regular house has. This includes an air conditioner, oven, washing machine, and dishwasher. The house has 3 massive and beautiful bedrooms with large beds which can comfortably accommodate up to 10 people. The kitchen is thoroughly equipped with all the necessities and is also where the whole family gathers. It's also worth noting that according to the owner, the house is always warm, even in the winter. The Boeing 727 was turned into an economical and energy-efficient home. The total usable area equals an unbelievable 147 square meters. Rose's grandchildren absolutely love coming to visit. There is also a large courtyard outside where Rose plans on planting flowers soon. And she also has a lake right under her nose, where the family loves to fish and rest. Rose has even named her home Little Trump, after Donald Trump's $16 million corporate jet, which is also a Boeing 727. Even after living in this unique home for so many years, Rose simply can't shake off the feeling that she's been flying all this time. Moving to a regular home is certainly not an option for Rose anymore. However, she does have plans to move onto a bigger plane someday.